Welcome everyone to another video blog, and I want to talk about the true meaning of becoming a spiritual warrior. Choosing the spiritual path, which it's not even a path, because there's no path to go inwards or to connect to something beyond the body and the mind, but we use it as an example, the spiritual path. We live in a time of information. This is getting more out there, out in the open. The occult is no longer occult, in quotes. There are certain things that are still kind of in the shadows. But if you dig in deeper, you can find all of these teachings and all of this knowledge. Spirituality, yoga, Toltecayotl, Druidry, all of these different paths, all these native ancient wisdom, it's out in the open now. And this has to do with many different prophecies that said that this would return, the return of all of these beautiful teachings. However, I see that we lack something. You may know everything about yoga, in quotes. You can do all these different positions, yet you lack something. You can know all the different things about Wicca or Druidry or paganism. You can know rituals, you can actually even do them, but then you lack something. You can love everything about shamanism, you can go to all these different sacred plant ceremonies, yet still you lack something. You can read all the books about Toltecayotl and the ancient Toltec tradition, yet you still lack something. We all still lack something, which is depth. We lack depth. Simply because you know something does not equal of being it, becoming it, actually understanding it, experiencing it. It is pretty sad seeing people that they do all these crazy positions and all these asanas, yet they are very incongruent with their lives, emotionally unstable. So it is entirely the opposite of what an asana is trying to do. If you take the right path and if you do yoga in the right way, you'll find beautiful balance, you'll find union. The same thing with druids. If you understand the word, where it comes from, do your own research, I'm not going to tell you. You'll understand that all of these ancient traditions, they all spoke about balance, becoming a full-fledged human being, fully developed human being, and then of course connecting with what's beyond to transcend this. But that's the four different directions of what makes us us and what we experience as energy that we are. So you see what I'm trying to say is people go into ayahuasca ceremonies and yet they're still very unstable. They still lack a lot of, connection, empathy. They still cannot find their own path. Just because you do it once, it's not necessarily that you're going to find enlightenment. It is a whole lifestyle, and it is a deep, deep, deep way of living that we're not going to find, and you're not going to find maybe in just one lifetime. But the fact that you understand and you accept that makes you whole and with no fakeness, which is what we see. A lot of fake people trying to teach you enlightenment when they themselves don't know what enlightenment is. So we have to open up our eyes and perceive beyond our limited senses, because it is pretty sad seeing people being manipulated by fake self-proclaimed gurus or shamans that they themselves lack the congruency within their own lives. Now, something that from my perspective, from the perspective of my ancestors, everything is connected. Whether you speak about Druidry or you speak about Toltec tradition, or you speak about yoga, they're all talking about the same thing. But from where I come from, and my ancestors, which is the Toltecs, the ancient Toltec tradition that spread all across from Alaska all the way to Nicaragua. The path of the Toltec, it is the path of being balanced. They understood that it's not just about being spiritual and being, smelly, hippie, raggedy looking ass motherfucker. It's nothing like that. And it is not that you don't have a job. They understood that you still need to function in this, in quotes, real world. In quotes, because this is nothing but a big dream. But they understood that within this matrix, you still have a role to play. You still have an avatar. So you needed to become useful in society, because you still live in society and you need each other. We all are connected. So we all need from each other. So it's not just about speaking to the spirits and being, making the physical, living it apart, or just being in the physical aspects of life and not caring about what's out there, not being connected with something else, or being just about emotions, everything just about empathy, about being, it's all about love. I love you, I accept you, all about emotional. It's not about that also. And it's not just also about the mind being super intellectual, reading everything, knowing everything, or thinking that you know everything, and being very logical about everything that is happening. You see, the Toltecs, they would describe all of this as the flower battle, la guerra florida, the flower war, which is when you go through these four aspects of you, okay? The physical, the spiritual, the mental, the emotional. You enter a battle. That's why every Toltec was a spiritual warrior. They were physically prepared, they were mentally prepared, they were spiritually prepared and connected, and they were very rooted and prepared emotionally as well. Because they knew that they had to go into battle. With their worst enemy, which was themselves. And out of those everyday battles, something bloomed, something blossomed, which was your true self, your balanced self. Now this balance, the battle, the continued battle, the battle that you had to take every single day, once you have achieved that enlightenment or that acknowledgement of being a Toltec, being considered a Toltec, which is a person of a balanced person, a person of a fully developed person, you still had to fight to keep that balance. Because sometimes you lose a battle. You do not lose the war, but sometimes you lose a battle. And that's when you slack off. That's when you lose the balance. And sometimes you get angry. Sometimes your emotions get the best of you. Sometimes the physical things get the best of you. Sometimes you lose track of the physicalities and you are, just out there in the cosmos, astral traveling. Or sometimes you are so into your emotions, or sometimes you are too much into the mind that you stop listening to your own heart. So this is the battle that we have to go through every single day. And that's the balance. We understand that's the balance, but you acknowledge it. Like, hey, I acknowledge that I am on the path of becoming a Toltec. I am on the path of being a fully developed human being, of being true to myself and being connected with all the four different parts that make me experience life as I experience it. But I come to you not telling you that I hold the wisdom that I'm going to teach you. I come to you as a human, not knowing a lot of stuff, but I'm continually growing, evolving, exploring different dimensions of me, being more connected, more rooted, evolving, becoming the best version of myself every single day. Constant and never-ending improvement. That's something that these ancient traditions, all ancient traditions, had in common. So it's not that you find someone that can bend his body in a very, twist his body in a very unique way, and oh my God, you have attained enlightenment. Or you see someone that can tell you, hey, drink this tea, and you're gonna feel fine, because simply because he or she knows certain recipes or certain rituals. Oh, I hold all the wisdom of the world. Or even some people that can actually speak to the spirits, they can actually have that connection. That does not mean that you are better than anyone else. There is no one above and there is no one below. We are all part of the same. We all come from the same. We are all the same. On a very deep and a very core, on a very deep level. So I've had it with these people thinking and saying and believing that they hold or they have attained a certain level and now I can. No, man. Because if you look deep in their lives, if you look deep into your life, you're full of incongruencies. You're full of shit, basically. And I'm full of shit. If I start looking at me, I connect with my Nekokjautl. I connect with, Tezcatlipoca, and I see a lot of, you could say you connect with your inner demons. You face them. And I see a lot of stuff that I don't like, but I need to face. And every day I try to conquer or I try to cope and I try to be more in touch and in balance with them. Because I know that if you look deep into my life, you would still see and say, damn, Pablo, you're full of shit. Even though you have attained and experienced a lot of stuff, you're still lacking a little bit. And I know that you that are watching me, whether you are on a high level, an expert, or you're a beginner, you're just getting started, you are also full of shit. Don't try to fool me, anybody else, and don't try to fool yourself. You are in this as we all are. We are all in it together. We're all learning. There are levels, of course there are levels. There are levels at everything, but that does not grant you the permission of being ego, letting your ego run the show. That does not grant you the permission of thinking that you're better than the rest of us. Because if we look deep into your life, we are going to find some incongruencies. Like the people that I'm telling you. Most of the shamans are just fucking drug addicts. And it's just what it is. Most shamans are just fucking drug addicts. Fucking hippies. And I said, oh yeah, I'm going to have the permission of using drugs. And I have nothing against sacred plants, they're not even drugs. But there's a depth to it. There's a deeper meaning behind everything that we do. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. Dive in deeper. Look deep into things that you're learning. Don't just take them for granted. Simply because somebody said it, or simply because you saw it somewhere, or you read it in a place, or you saw a video. Dive in deeper. Because we lack depth. We lack wisdom. We have a lot of information. We have a lot of things. We know everything nowadays. We have all the information available to us. Yet we lack the wisdom that our forefathers had. Now, why don't we combine all these beautiful ancient teachings that our forefathers had with all the beautiful things that we have now? You see, now we can become better than all of these gurus and all of these prophets that we've had, such as Yeshua, such as Topilsin, such as Siddhartha Gautama. Now we can connect all the dots. Now we can study the life of Gautama. We can study the life of Yeshua. We can study the life of Seacatl Topilsin. We can study all of this, and now we connect the dots. And we become wiser. As long as we keep true to ourselves, saying, hey, I don't understand. There are things that I don't know, yet I want to know. And if you keep that truth within you, that you're not going to become perfect, yet you are on the path of knowing and growing, you're going to be okay, as long as you are true with that. Not trying to be a fake know-it-all. All right? So I know this was a long video. I hope this makes sense to you, but this needs to be said, and I will continue to make videos in this tone. All right? Whether it's something that you like or understand or not, this needs to be spoken, and more, way more. There are things that are on a high level that need to be spoken to. All right, so connect with all the different aspects of you, the 4 different aspects. Connect with that. Okay, be the best version of yourself. Thank you for listening, and until the next one, Omete Otro.